Good afternoon, everybody. You can hear my barking dogs in the background. I'm Reverend Banaszak, and welcome to the very first Sunday afternoon delight. So very excited about this because I'm here with my spiritual super pal, Renee Guidelli, to share with you our idea of a non-church service for Sundays. And we're tickled that we're calling it Afternoon Delight. That was Renee's idea because if you were growing up in the 70s, it was a fun song. So this really evolved from an online service collaboration we had with our mutual spiritual super pal, Reverend Amanda Hoover, and we're pretty sure that Amanda was playing spiritual matchmaker when she coordinated that service because Renee and I hit it off right away, and from that point forward, we have been talking back and forth about creating something just like this, something non-churchy, something that would be fresh and inspiring, and most importantly, fun to develop, fun to lead, and fun for you to attend. So, a quick update on me. If you don't know who I am, I'm originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I was raised Catholic. I call it suburban Catholicism. That means that we left at communion and we went to CCD. We did not go to Catholic school. And so I was a little more detached from my Catholic roots than my parents might have been. And after a long time of doing this, I found myself at a lovely church here in Washington, D.C. called the Institute for Spiritual Development. And when I walked in, the opening welcome words from the celebrant were, "Welcome home." And when he said those words, I knew I was home. And from there, I went on to join the ministerial program, became a minister there, and then became pastor of that church in 2015. Right after the pandemic, as many of us did, it was time for something new for me. And so I left to pursue my dream of doing this spiritual work privately and helping people one-on-one and working with social media. So here we are today. And I'm so happy to have been invited by my friend, Renee. And Renee, tell everybody about yourself and what your ideas about this service was.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. I'm Renee Guidelli, and just like Rob said, we were just kind of playing around with this concept of an afternoon delight. But to be quite honest with you, I am not a morning person, so we really didn't want to do anything super early. But the idea of afternoon delight was just kind of like this fun, playful, but also light-hearted experience where we experience spirit, where we experience source, where we experience our heart-centered intentions of living in this world as one people. And so it was, but I just kept hearing that song. I think I even went and Googled it the next morning or something, and I'm like, why is that song going on and on in my head? And it just seemed like the perfect idea is this afternoon delight. And I think there's even a comment about the stars and star rockets at night or something like that. So yeah, I'll say a little bit about myself, but I am really thrilled to be working with Rob as well, and I do shout out to Amanda as well for kind of bringing us together. We have just been really having a lot of fun. We have so much in common. I think we both have a true desire to minister in a very unique and eclectic, but also, again, we use the word spiritual way, based on what didn't work for us growing up and what we're finding as we're in our adult years, what does. So I'll say a little bit about myself. My name's Renee Guidelli. I grew up in a tiny little town called Mount Upton, and we lived on the riverbanks in Mount Upton. And I, at an early age, was communing with the nature spirits. I was finding peace in the cemetery next door, where I could just kind of just really, once again, commune with those particular entities and just find peace there. And I also would stare out of my bedroom window and see Native Americans across the river in the field. And at an early age, I was kind of thrown into the other world, I guess you could say. Fast forward, well, I'll just say I was sent to and went to a Catholic church where I attended Sunday school, and I have to say I actually really enjoyed it, but mostly because of the boy to girl ratio. So I'm just gonna put that out there. But really, though, truly. I enjoyed the rituals, the ceremonies, the celebrations, just the idea of even the reverence within a sacred space. So I think I was able to pull pieces from that I really enjoyed and let kind of some of them sort of, die away. But I have found a lot of women, and especially those who are kind of following more of an older, traditional, ancient ways path, and perhaps you as well, Rob, that the rituals and the ceremonies and the song and the reverence is just so endearing to us. So fast forward a few years later, I found myself, I got ordained in 2012 in the Order of Melchizedek, and it was around the same time that I was actually a Christian education director for a Christian church down in Binghamton. I spent most of those years in Sunday school. I was hired as a CE director, but I really was the Sunday school director, which I absolutely loved because it allowed me to bring my, once again, lighthearted inner child play out into the arena as and I just kind of imagined myself telling the stories like Jesus did, right? Like gathering all the kids around there, around his circle and just telling stories. So that's kind of what happened. And then I'll just take you to the current situation because this here is our church. So we own and operate, we own an 1869 Gothic Revival church, which we call the Heart Center. And this is where you can discover ways to heal yourself, help the planet, and expand your vision of community together through loving kindness, compassion, and purpose-driven joy. So it not only inspires and empowers and ignites your heart, but it also ignites the heart of the world, the heart of the cosmos, if you will. So here we are. So that's my backstory.
Beautiful story, and I can't wait to see your church. Our plans are to have an in-person collaboration at some point very soon, but the church looks lovely and really is a vision that I know I had for the Institute for Spiritual Development when I was there, almost that exact vision of that center of love and of spirituality and fun, which is, I think, something we both value. So
beautiful. Thank you.
Well, let us begin, and let us unite our consciousness with a prayer that we open ourselves fully today to this uniquely sacred experience of the divine energy within us and around us. Even if the same people would come the next time we do this, we do the exact same ritual, the experience that we create each time is unique. And so I feel like that makes everything beautifully sacred and special for anybody that can even watch it on recording. So let us pray. Infinite Spirit, in which I am contained and that is contained in me, we've gathered today in celebration of your divine presence and our divine essence, and with the intention of deepening our eternal connection to that divinity. So today, may our bodies activate and animate by our sharing of this sacred time together. May our minds expand with clarity and understanding of our true eternal being as part of all that is. And may our spirits soar with the joy, love, inspiration that we cultivate, nurture, and share as individual expressions of the one source. These are our heart's desires for our gathering today, and with faith we declare that as they are requested, so are they fulfilled. And so it is.
So I I would like to bring in the overlighting energy, again, I feel like I want to use the word the cosmos, the heavenly being, to oversee this beautiful project, this awareness of who we are, where we come from, where we are going as one people. And so with that being said, we ask that you open your hearts, your minds, your eyes, and the information that is to be channeled through and for all of us at this time. In this sacred space that Rob is keeping, and that in your hearts and your souls to hold that sacred space within.
Thank you. And now I'm going to invite you to sit back, make yourself comfortable, and put yourself in a position where you are either sitting straight up with your back against the back of the chair or seat, or if you're lying down, if you're propping yourself up so that you are relaxed but you're energized, because we're going to take just a few moments to center ourselves, to be still in meditation, and to call upon the power of the lion to guide us today as individuals as we share this experience as a community. So if you want to get comfortable, we're going to open our meditation by focusing on our breathing first. And we're going to do this by inhaling through our nose and exhaling through our mouth. We're going to take 3 deep breaths together. So let's inhale and hold, filling your entire body with oxygen. And exhale slowly and hold. Let's do that again. Inhale and hold. And exhale slowly and hold. And one last deep breath that we do together. Inhale and hold. And exhale slowly. And as you do, you can allow your eyes to flutter closed. Very gently. And then if you can, imagine yourself in a clearing. It's a beautiful blue sky. A gorgeous meadow of green and wildflowers. We are lying on the ground, open to the beautiful images that we see in the sky. And of course, as we did when we were children, the clouds begin, big, white, fluffy clouds begin to roll in. Their whiteness making the sky seem all that much bluer. And again, as we did when we were kids, we begin to see those shapes in the clouds. Animals, or trees and flowers, maybe even buildings or landscapes. And one of those images in the clouds begins to take shape. With more and more clarity. Those white clouds begin to form the shape of the lion's head. It almost looks like the head's been sculpted out of the whitest alabaster. The face is animated. And it seems to lower itself from the sky more and more and more. And as it does, that sculpted face becomes the real, live, magnificent beast. Just the head of the lion, looking us directly into our eyes. And here we sense the power and the strength of this most majestic creature. But what we really notice is the warmth in this beautiful lion's eyes, gazing at us with so much love. So much serenity. That we know that this is simply one of the faces of Source or God. And the face of this lion speaks to us wordlessly. The lion moves its mouth and we feel the warmth and comfort of its breath. And we know that we are given an important, meaningful, and beautiful message. One designed just for us. And if we don't understand it or feel that we've heard it, we trust that the content of this message will be revealed later today or this week. Or maybe we've heard it, seen it, felt it loud and clear. And feel the love, feel the strength, and feel the magic of this beautiful grand creature that we honor and align with today. And almost as quickly as the face It's descended to us. It takes the shape of that white cloud, begins to float up to the sky, and then just dissipates, dissolves back into the blue. And we feel safe, we feel energized, and we feel the hope and peace of this grand creature's message to us. And suddenly we find ourselves breathing, our breath that has kept us tethered to this earth plane. And as we breathe, the meadow dissolves away, and we reappear as a mist that animates that physical body that's been relaxing, filling every corner of that body with our life essence. Which we begin to check by wiggling our fingers and our toes. And returning fully, we take 3 quick breaths and we'll open our eyes on the last one. Let's inhale quickly. Exhale quickly. Inhale again. And exhale. And one more deep breath. Inhale. And exhale. And welcome. Hope that you were able to gather the strength and the power of that most beautiful lion creature. Where we go with it is something else that we're excited to talk about today with you. So, namaste. So this idea today is so exciting. And this was really Renee's brainchild. I'm a Leo. And in almost 15 years of being a minister and doing sermons and loving being up there on the podium, I've never actually specifically spoken about the power of this Leo season. Because if I haven't told you before, I am Leo. And, it's like a jackpot zodiac sign to me. Like, it's like winning the lottery, I think. It's ruled by the sun. It's fire sign, so it's all about the passion. Leo characteristics are traditionally charisma and courage and strength and leadership. And yes, we Leos do love being the center of attention. Performers, I think we're fun. I mean, yes, sometimes we might be perceived as being a bit self-absorbed or even selfish and maybe even knowing it all a little bit. And of course, extremely proud. But come on. If you are a Leo, aren't you so happy and grateful that you are? And if you aren't you just a little bit jealous? Just a little? Don't you want to get in on this Leo action? But all kidding aside, including my Leo ego, today's lion energy inspired service is not about extolling this exclusive, inaccessible amazingness of an astrological archetype. It's about a message. It's about a message that this astrological archetype, this ancient, spiritually resonating animal, has for each one of us, not just the Leos. So, newsflash, Leo season is not just for those with birthdays from July 22 to August 22. It's here to remind us that the lion heart beats in us all. And living the lion heart is not a personality trait. It is a way of life. So the lion has, since ancient times, as many of you know, been an animal with spiritual significance to most of the world's great faith traditions. It's the king of beasts, and is seen as strong and powerful and brave and courageous. The lion's golden coat, and especially the mane of the male, has symbolized that fire-blazing sun and the life-giving light of the sun itself. The lion's majestic body provides not only brute, powerful physical strength, but a regal and royal grace that has been connected to and associated with gods and goddesses in sacred religious texts throughout history. This includes ancient Egypt and Hinduism and Buddhism, and both the Old and New Testaments have reference to traits of the lion. And so, who among us would not want to be or be like an animal or creature whose strength and bravery makes him or her an unchallenged leader? I mean, who wouldn't want to be considered to be a lion-hearted person? Now, Webster's dictionary defines lion-hearted as being courageous and brave. No surprise there. And Oxford Dictionary defines a lion heart as a person of exceptional courage and bravery. And so my friend Renee is going to share some thoughts about courage and bravery, but as she does, I want to expand the idea of thinking about just those two qualities as imbuing somebody who's lion-hearted. And I want to add a quality that I believe is really at the core of the lion heart, and that's grace. The lion heart is someone with an animal or creature, a person with courage, bravery, and strength. But strength, as we know, can become bullying, and bravery can become recklessness without that pivotal quality of grace, because it's the true power of knowing your power and strength, never needing to show it off, and always deploying them only when absolutely necessary. It's grace that reveals wise and confident, secure and effective leaders, because they have nothing to prove to anyone and everything to learn about managing their power for the greater end. And it's grace that is the common thread of three of our most popular lion characters in fantasy literature and pop culture. Aslan from the Chronicles of Narnia is a deity-like ruler, or deity, depending on your perspective in the book, who actually relinquishes all of his might and power and his life to the villainous White Witch in exchange for sparing the young boy's life, who wronged her in her own palace. This sacrifice, though, activates this even deeper and more ancient magic that decrees anyone offering their life in exchange for another's life will automatically rise from the dead. And of course, this is, as C.S. Lewis did, echoing the crucifixion of our brother Jesus and his resurrection in the New Testament. Simba, the Lion King, who, while only a very young lion, must grow up quickly and learn about being a wise and compassionate and confident and brave, competent king, while dealing with the rage about his father being murdered and his battle with his uncle. The Cowardly Lion, of course, from The Wizard of Oz, like many of us, longs for that quality that he believes he doesn't have: courage. When throughout the story he realizes that there are things he would do anything, including something that he's afraid of, to help rescue someone that he loves and cares about. And so the Cowardly Lion's iconic Oz adventures and personality reveal the fact that true courage is not bestowed upon or given as a ticking watch for your lapel. True courage is facing our fears, not extinguishing them. So it's Leo season. And like some folks say about St. Patrick's Day, everybody is lion during Leo season. And yes, my much less mature self always loved the ego delusion that Leo season was about celebrating Leos, of course, but my grace aspiring self has recently learned from those old childhood storytime friends that Leo season is not about celebrating lion-hearted Leos. It's about everyone helping each other discover the lion heart that is within each of us. So my friend Renee is going to share her thoughts about courage and bravery and the lion heart, and how that lion in summer might go from cowardly roar to courageous roar. So say grace.
So I am a mother of a Leo. My Leo was born, well, the next 2 weeks will be his birthday. And I have known firsthand what it's like to be a mother to a very spotlight as well, and learn his ways of leading that are definitely more humble and filled with humility as well, which kind of has surprised me a bit. But the thing that I wanted to talk about in terms of being lion-hearted, and it's interesting, as my father used to say to he would say, "Richie, you remind me of King Richard the Lionhearted," and I didn't really know what that meant. And if you want, you can Google that. I had a hard time following the story, but it was, I believe, the man or the leader of the story is from the Crusades. So it's a very interesting story, but it's hard to articulate. It's not the right form. But Richard the Lionheart, and his name is Richard, my son. But what I want to talk about, because I wanted it to sort of, I just kept thinking of the Wizard of Oz. And as Rob had kind of expounded on it before, all I could think of is, and there's so many awesome stories in the Wizard of Oz, and there's so many examples of courage. But what I was reflecting on the Cowardly Lion, and all I could keep thinking of is that, like, put him up, right? Like where the lion comes into contact with the Scarecrow and Dorothy, and the lion we know is represented as the king of the jungle, the king of beasts, proud, untouchable, don't mess with me kind of thing. And I found that put 'em up Scarecrow scenario really kind of interesting. And so here, this lion, who obviously, if you were to come across a lion in the jungle or a lion anywhere, you would think this lion would be very haughty, almost like filled with bravery in both ways. But what was interesting was the moment that Dorothy smacked him on his nose, if you remember, and she realized, oh, but you're nothing but a mean, cowardly lion. Like, shook him out of his like stance, and he's like, but you're right. And he cowers. And he allowed her to be herself. And so I felt like he was hiding behind a mask of fear because he wouldn't let the love in. And then herself, with her compassion and understanding of who he actually was. He saw himself as cowardly, and yet he allowed his fear and his anger and his mask to get in the way of who he actually was. So it does take courage, and it took courage for her to do that, right? To see the compassion and the love love and who he actually for what it's. So in the story, they all go to the source seeking what they already have inside. And it takes courage to be vulnerable, to allow that love, to allow her and or that love to do that. It takes courage to find the love in place of the fear. It takes courage to do the right thing. And what needs to be in place for you to take take risks fearlessly so you can fly. It's funny because when you come here, you'll see we have a lot of stories and a lot of symbolism around the bee, and there's so many really interesting stories about the bee. But let's think of the bee in terms of, and I don't know how many bees you've looked at lately, but a lot of bees have very large bodies and these teeny tiny little wings, and yet they lift off. It must take courage to think that, oh my gosh, my big, heavy lion body with its itty bitty tiny little wings is going to lift up. And it takes courage to know that there's some kind of flower out there, or there's some place where I'm going to land where my honey is and my nectar is going to bring me what I need. So I love this analogy of courage. Instead of cowering, I love this analogy of finding freedom and love in place of fear. And so part of what we talked about doing was this purify and praise. And how we purify and praise is we purify what it is that is not working in our lives anymore. So I want you to think of these questions, because I want you to think of these questions that are going to take you through the rest of the week, okay? Because when we feel courageousness, there is no fear or hesitation to change. We feel alert, we feel alive, we feel assured, we feel centered, we feel cheerful, we feel cleared, and we're ready for takeoff, just like the bee, ready for takeoff, lift off. The I can attitude comes in, that it's possible, and these are words we speak, we believe, and we align with them. We feel bold, we feel daring, and we don't need to seek the source or the wizard like the cowardly lion did. So all we need to do is remember it's already inside of us, and we just need to align with it. So here's what I want you to think of. I want you to think of one courageous act that you are going to take this week. This could be something you've never done before. This could be something that you have been thinking about doing, but have been hesitant. Or this could be something totally out of the blue that just sort of comes into your life, that all of a sudden you're taking off with it. So I want you to think about that. And before you do, let's take a moment to purify, clear, and cleanse anything and everything that is in the way. And so once again, we call in the overlighting energy, our higher selves, the place and space that knows us our best, within us, around us, above us, and below us. We ask that you take this information, you take these beliefs, these things that no longer serve us, that we may or may not consciously be aware of. We ask that we open our hearts and our minds, our bodies and our spirits, for the praise and the knowing where we are, that what we need is coming our way, that we do not need to seek it, it is already there. That Source has provided it for us, that we are that Source. We hold that wisdom, courage of the lion. We are reminded of the lion and the lamb. Perhaps being vulnerable is the lamb. Perhaps the lion lays with the lamb. We may see lion as Jesus or Mufasa or whatever scenario we wish to see. But ultimately, as Rob said, that lion is us, bringing out those fearless aspects within us from a place of love and compassion and understanding. And so we have this container for purifying and praising. And I am now going to hand the gauntlet over to Rob so he can share with us how we are going to purify so that you can take the next steps in relationship to your courageousness. And think about that for the rest of the week.
Thank you, Renee. So if you've had the opportunity to jot down that courageous act for yourself on a slip of paper, if we were in person, we would gather everyone's slip of paper and we would put that exclamation point on that intention and we would send it into the flames in a burning bowl. Now, for other meditations that I do, I have discovered that there's no reason through the miracle of technology that we can't have a similar situation, a similar emphasis for all of the energy that we are putting toward these courageous acts. I'll just collect that energy into this little slip of paper that I have written everyone's courageous acts on, and then I will, as a proxy, send it out into the flames, all of our courage, all of our intentions, and let the universe bring all of those experiences back to us, reveal to us those courageous times that we need to express it and bring it to be made manifest. So if you don't want to write it down, because I don't have to burn your slip of paper, if you just want to either pretend to write it down on your hand, just some physical way you can just speak it out loud, that you can just take 3 breaths and send me the energy. I don't need to know the specifics. Just send me the energy of the act that you are choosing to do for yourself, that you are holding yourself accountable for. And then I will collect all that energy into this tiny little thing. Imagine a big cartoon gathering all that smoke and chaos and everything into this one little piece, and then we'll send it back out. So if you haven't written it down or if you haven't articulated it, do so now. And let's just close our eyes. And as we do this, if you're holding your paper, if you pretend to put it in the palm of your hand, just imagine that piece of paper glowing brighter and brighter. Brighter and brighter until it bursts into this gorgeous blue-orange flame. There's no pain. There's no burning of our bodies. But imagine that flame growing brightly, more and more brightly. And then imagine it shooting out of your hand, leaving your space and coming right here to this piece of paper where I'm gathering it right now, zipping it right in there. It's all coming through as the flame. And this is true if you are watching the recorded version of this. I am still collecting your energy right here. I imagine myself as being like in the Ghostbuster movie, just kind of collecting it with the lightning all in this one space. And we said we'd like to have fun, right, Renee? Yes. So this is it. I've gathered it. Now again, this is not the thing, but it is a representative of the thing. It represents our courage. It is not our courage. So even though you've written this down, even though you've sent me that energy, you're still going to have to do it yourself. I can't do it. The burning bowl can't do it. Reverend Renee can't do it. So just know this just symbolizes the energy and the focus that we've put to this intention. And I'm going to light it right now. And as I do, I'm going to put on my very special, what I call the burning bowl cam. If you indulge me a moment, you'll see right there. There it is, awaiting the flame. You just light it with my candle. Our intentions go out into the flames, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, energy to energy. And so it is.
Nice. All right. So what do you think, Rob? You think we're ready to close down now?
Close, yes.
All right. So
you said you wanted to make a few announcements, I think, too, and just some housekeeping, and let everybody know what you're up to at the Heart Center.
Sure. So let's take a moment to be in a state of gratitude and appreciation. And also, I am very thankful and appreciating of those who have shown up, those who may catch this live, those who are actually feeling and experiencing our energy that may or may not have been able to be here. But we understand that the timelines and that everything exists all at once at this time, and it's all about intention and what's in our heart. So let's take all of this information that we have learned, this purifying and praising, courageousness, flying in the state of everything that Rob has brought to the table, and myself and you. And just remember that anything that is to serve going forward will find you. And anything that you hear or understand or are scratching your heads about, that is not for you, and it may come at another time. And so, Mother, Father, God, Creator, Great Spirit, you who we call by so many names, we thank you for, once again, the source energy that breathes us, lives through us, keeps us upright, alert, and able to be in this world in its ups and downs, and its chaos and its clarity, and everything in between. We are alive, we are well, and we are here for a purpose. We thank you.
And so it is.
So it is.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. And again, always a reminder, because I always forget, if you haven't liked either of our pages on Facebook, please do. Please like and share this video if you enjoyed it, or if you've watched the recording and want somebody else to see it. So the more we create these online communities, the more they can thrive, the more we can share and experience the lion-heartedness in us all. So have a beautiful day.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Thank you, Rob. So, yeah, Rob, I just want to share real briefly. We have a drum circle coming up today at 2 o'clock. So that's why I had told Rob that we'd like to do these once a month, but we also want to be very careful with how long these go, and we want to be respectful of everybody's time. So we have a drum circle coming up here at 2 o'clock if you want to join us. And we have speaking of lion, we have an 8-8 Lion's Gate meditation here at 1 o'clock on Tuesday as well. So again, these are things that are on in person. Slowly, we want to be able to present these also online, and I think Rob is going to help me figure that out as well. So maybe he can join some of these things, and other people as well. Technology, this is where my courageousness is going to come in when it comes to technology, is like really trying to do the things that I have not had a lot of experience doing, but also being willing to reach out and ask others to help me as well, realizing I can't do it all. So yeah, and I'm also available, just to kind of tell you, and it's funny because I do feel like I told Rob at the beginning of this that, I don't know if you can notice in the back of where I was sitting, so I came down to the sanctuary and I was like, where am I supposed to sit? And it was very clear that I was supposed to sit, so in the back of me is the east, and this is, talk about a mother lion or a lion, this is Sekhmet in the back of me. This was a painting. So maybe I'll take a picture of that and put it somewhere, and that way you guys can see her. So it was kind of cool that she was behind me this whole time. But
Yes.
with that, Rob?
Goddess, yes.
Yes, exactly, the lion goddess, yes. So, yeah, so I'm available for spiritual guidance here as well as online, energy readings, and soul purpose coaching. And you can, like Rob said, you can take a look at that on the website, on our links on Facebook. So I really, I appreciate this. This is also, Rob, what you've asked me to do is also being, I keep kind of using the same word, courageous, but it always seems so hard to talk about yourself and what you do. Like that's something that so when you kind of are like, well, this is what you're going to do, I'm like, okay, sure, this is an opportunity. And I'm always so quick to say what's going on here as a community, but I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, I do spiritual guidance, I do.
Yes.
So I appreciate that, and I've really enjoyed this. Rob and I also talked about, like, we kind of like the idea of or fantastical stories because we all remember from our childhood those archetypes. And so we think we're going to kind of keep this theme going a little bit more, but you never know. Spirit might have another plan for us. So yeah, thank you. I'm good. I'm complete.
Yes, you are. Yes, and thank you. And again, I also have always been remiss about sharing that I too am available for spiritual guidance and readings and healings. And we do a meditation. I do a meditation on every Wednesday night, which I will do tomorrow. So it's a lot like the meditation we did today, only we use a tarot card to or other oracle cards to guide us. So check that out. Again, everything respective pages on Facebook, YouTube, and all the socials. So check those out and join us. And again, let's keep building this community together. Thank you so much, Renee. This has been so fun. I can't wait to do it again.
Okay.
I can't wait to do it live.
I know you'll be here drumming with us today too. I know you'll be here in spirit.
I got my drum sitting right on the dresser right over there. So yes, I will do it in spirit. Okay. For sure.
All right. Thank you. I'm going to, yeah.
Have a beautiful day, and we'll see everybody later.